Good evening. I was told to speak about our own experience because we are one of the oldest online newspapers in Europe and how things are changing and maybe what is happening to us can introduce the big debate on things happening all across the continent. We were among the first exiled journalists. I like to use these words because we on 95, it's 17 years now, we decided to move from traditional media, I was working on a newspaper, to online media. Just seeking if there is a way to do different journalism there. We have no answer to that question, but we try for all these years to understand the rules of this new kind of journalism, how is this new environment where everyone can speak, everyone can publish. You are no longer the only one with the tools and the resources to reach the audience, how to make money also on this field, which is not an easy answer to this question. And well, we still are alive, which is a lot. And I think also that some of the most interesting media today are made by exiled journalists. Think on Politico in Washington, D.C., Reca-Trevenneuf in Paris. So there is it's sort of a trend of people coming from the old world, moving to the new world and trying to build something. And trying to build something with the skills we learned in the past. But the fact is that for most of our history, we were a traditional newspaper just in an electronic format. But we were not really doing different things, not so much. 3 or 4 years ago, we understand that suddenly 2 things were happening. First, that there were a new wave of people going into the business, that they were doing, yes, something really different. Playing with data, explaining the stories in a way that we never realized it can be done, etc., etc. So we figure, well, this is something new coming, really coming. And second, we realize also that most of the things that we were explaining as a mantra for so many years, these papers are dying, computers and TV will merge, middleware will vanish, all these kind of things suddenly begin to happen. And yes, newspapers are dying, yes, video is all over and TV channel concept is out, yes, etc. But the surprise that came along for us was that not only all newspapers were at risk, but we were too. And that was a really surprise. It was a big surprise because I think we are in the middle of a perfect storm where journalism is questioned. Not just this form of journalism or this other form of journalism, not just this product or the other one, but journalism itself is in question. So we decided to do the only thing we can do, which is to change everything, to start again, to morph into this new environment where social media is the big name, when the force changing everything is social media. That I think that probably is the biggest change ever for journalism. And we begin to think on ourselves and what can we do? And we trace it back our roots and find that journalism at the end is a very easy thing. It's just a matter of told stories, do it well, and serving the community, and asking what the community wants to know from you. So we take this old lesson of journalism and try to put in the new environment. And our decision was open every door. Open every door and change the relationship between the newsroom and the readers. So we changed so many things as we can, so faster as we can. We moved our newsroom, our premises to downtown Barcelona. We were outside the city. We moved right to the center of the city. We create an open newsroom with a shop inside a public area. Even the readers can come to work with us. We have a blogger community that can come and sit in our tables and work there, etc., these kind of things. We especially increased very much our activity on social networks. Today, Twitter and Facebook are even much more important than our own page, our own old page. We understand that we are no longer a page. We are a brand that have, yes, a vilaweb.cat page, but we have also TV. We are on YouTube, we are on iTunes, we are on Facebook, on Twitter, doing different things under the same brand, but working so much we can on the social media. We put big screens in the middle of the newsroom with Twitter and Facebook coming down all the time with all the stories that people are following. We try to put intelligence on data, learning what people is doing now in our website live. This is very important to have a live understanding of what people is reading, what is not, how people is moving inside your information, what are they interested in, etc., etc. And the result of that was an increase of 35% in our readership the last year, reaching the 500,000 unique users mark, which was very good. But the problem is that this was not, and it's not only a matter of figures. Because of that, we were a bit aware of the need to change also the way we interact with our community of readers, not only as a journalist, but as a company too. So we started with some special events. For instance, 1.5 years ago, something like this, we invited 15 members of the community to be directors of the newspaper for one day. That was a funny thing, very interesting thing. We got from actors or writers to a noon or the CEO of an airline company and a designer, every kind of people coming to the newsroom and being empowered for one day. And that changed everything. They do amazing things, some strange things also, but readers identify that something was changing, and especially writers discover all of a sudden that there is a different world outside, and there is people thinking different and so on. That was a very wonderful lesson for all of us, and it was a challenge for readers and for writers. So we started to do things like this. We did some different things, and finally, last July, we decided to move further by launching what we call Plus VilaWeb. And that was, our definition is, Plus VilaWeb is a way to organize the relationship between newsroom, company, and readers. And we want to build something new, something different, and to establish this tool, this community relationship tool as the core center of our business. At the end, the basic concept was the readers and the community recognize the professional skills of the newsroom and the freedom of newsroom to write about what we think is relevant, but at the same time the newsroom recognize that without readers we are nothing. Think on the old Indro Montanelli word when he said that readers are the real owners, because if they just don't buy the paper, they are firing you, in fact. So the project, VilaWeb Plus, is a way to interact with people. That meaning a lot of things. For instance, every morning we send a mail to all the members of the club, telling them on what we are working, not what we are publishing.
How many are these members, if I may?
It's 2,000 already.
2,000 people get the mail.
Yeah, and we send them, okay, we are working on that or on that, and they answer us and say, okay, why not interview this guy, or why are you talking about that? It's a nonsense, talk about these other things, or things like this, and they are interacting with us. We also create a TV program where interviews are made by readers, not by journalists, and the agenda is very different, and all these kind of things. But at the end, it came the question of money. We found a model on the States that was the Texas Tribune project of asking the people for crowdfunding the newspaper, more or less. So we decided to ask the people for pay. Before, there are two things that newspapers have tried to get people paying. One is the so-called walls, that I think it's a nonsense, because if you are behind a wall, no one will spread your words through the social media, and the so-called premium concepts. That for us is a nonsense, because if you ask the people for paying just for the premium, you must have a very good premium. So you must invest the money you get on doing a better premium. So it's a sort of a chain that doesn't end, never. So we decided to say, no, just pay for nothing. Pay for responsibility. And that's the question. We ask you to pay because you believe that media is relevant for you. And because you understand that this concrete media that we are is important to you and for your idea of society. That started well, but that was better when in December we identify the concept and we say, okay, VilaWeb now is a paid newspaper. It's not for free, but it costs 16 cents a day. It doesn't cost €1.20 as the old paper newspaper. It just costs 16 cents a day. And you must be aware that you should pay. If you don't pay, nothing happens. You will read the same newspaper, you are free to do the same thing, anything is the same. But your conscience is not in the right position. And it works. It works. It's working, and it is changing the whole way we are working, not only as a journalist, but also as a company. The next step will be in next autumn or winter, when we will call for an assembly of the readers. And in France, there is some newspapers that have stakes on the readers. Le Monde, Libération, part of the stakes are in the hands of the community of readers. Well, we are thinking on something. We are not sure on what, because we want the community to tell us how to organize that. But I'm sure that that will work, because we learned two things on that 3 years experience last time. And one is that you can't take nothing for granted. Not even if you believe you are the leader of the avant-garde of everything, you are not. And so you don't believe on yourself. Just let the people tell you what they want. And the second thing that we learn is that if people tell us what they want, we can do a better journalism and we can do a better company. So that is our experience, and I think maybe later on we can discuss further on that.